Well, there's also a really sneaky thing that happens where you have two parties, and one of them you think of as this conservative, warmongering party, which automatically makes the other party the enemy of that.
Yeah, but they're not.
They're not. Well,
we have two pro-war parties, and that's there's not an opposition party. They oppose Trump on the most ridiculous bullshit. They just voted for an extra $160 billion to go to the war machine. $160 billion. Let's remember, Bernie Sanders wanted to pay for free college, which was somewhere around $65 billion. So, and everybody said, he's fucking crazy. How are you going to pay for that? They just did that in a blink of an eye. They passed $160 billion to a war machine that we don't have an enemy to fight. You know, Russia spends $65 billion a year on their military. They're a paper tiger. We got no fucking enemies out there. We have to keep inventing them. And the last enemy they invented was ISIS. ISIS, I don't know, we're supposed to shit our pants over them, Joe, because they have kitchen knives. They'll cut your head off with a kitchen knife. That's what I'm supposed to be afraid of? What the fuck? What? It's amazing how they can keep us scared so they can keep perpetual war going. This is an Orwellian nightmare. And the Democrats right now should be screaming about the Pentagon budget, but they're not screaming about it because they're complicit. They're in it. And that's what's wrong with this country. That's why we can't have nice things. So when they tell you that we're broke and we can't afford stuff, they don't mean we can't afford $1 trillion wars, $1 trillion bank bailouts, $1 billion oil subsidies, and prison construction. That's not what they mean. They mean we can't afford shit like healthcare or education or roads or bridges or firemen or libraries or anything that makes your fucking life better. Because whenever they need bombs, they got it. Hey, we're broke for Social Security. We're broke for Medicare. How about for bombs? Oh, we got bomb money. We keep it right to our fucking
that is
drinking
true
money.
Because we're not really in a war in the sense of like World War II or World War I. We're in this weird war of, it's like a calculated war.
They're all economic wars,
yeah.
Joe. They're all. So we went into Iraq for the oil. Libya is because he wanted to go off the petrodollar.
But it is stunning how much funding this kind of war gets versus all the different social programs that we need in this country.
Yes.
Infrastructure programs.
Yes, and people always think like, well, how are you going to pay for that? We don't have to spend any more money. We can actually spend less money. We don't have to spend $750 billion a year on a military that's bloated. We have 1,000 bases around the world. We don't even know how many bases there are because lots of them are secret.
So what do you say to the argument that we need them in order to stay safe?
It's not true.
That's the big argument, right? The big argument is this is the way we've destroyed ISIS because ISIS was on their way to building up and becoming a real threat.
We invented Al-Qaeda, and then we invented ISIS.
We certainly aided in their
development. And
yeah.
we directly funded them.
Well, people that don't know, the whole Mujahideen story, which was Osama bin Laden was our guy.
Our guy.
He was our guy
He
fighting
was
against the Soviets.
Anti-Russian freedom fighter is what they called Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they didn't need him anymore. So, and we're still in Afghanistan 17 years later. 3 more years that war gets a gold watch. And
what do they do? I mean, what do they do to get us out of there? I mean, literally, what is the exit strategy?
There's
none.
There is no exit strategy. Never was an exit strategy. There's no exit strategy from the Mideast. In fact, they just announced we're going to be permanently in Syria.